everybody, welcome to Love and Life's Journey. I'm Chantel, and today I'm bringing you probably my last Christmas DIY project video. It's just getting close to Christmas, and I know everybody's going to be busy with all of their Christmas activities and things going on, and I'm going to be as well. And so hopefully you've had time to make some DIY projects for Christmas and hopefully get your Christmas shopping done and all of those things during this busy time of year. I was just sitting here looking at the Christmas tree behind me and thinking about all of the ornaments that are on it. And you know, I don't have a fancy designer Christmas tree, but I love our Christmas tree because every ornament on it has a story, has a memory that goes with it, and it's special to our family. And I think that that is what Christmas should be about. And so don't feel bad if your tree isn't looking like it came straight from a department store, but just cherish it the way it is and the memories that go with it, because that's what's important this time of year, is just making memories with your family and spending time together and remembering what Christmas is really all about. So the project I have for you today is a copy of something that I saw in a store. It was really cute, but it was on sale. I think it was $40, and I just decided to come up with a way to make that cheaper. And so I've used items from the Dollar Tree and from Walmart, and you could get everything that you need for this from Walmart. So if you don't have Dollar Tree, that's okay. And so I think it cost me about $12 to put this together. It's a little different than the one I actually saw in the store, but I really like the way this turned out. So that being said, let's get started. For this project, I picked up 3 of these sayings in these frames from Dollar Tree, and I picked these because they're a little bit taller and narrower, so that when I put them together they actually look like window panes. I picked up these letters from Walmart. They were 98 cents a piece, and they had the glittered letters, and then they also had these wood grain looking letters. And I'm not sure which ones I will be using. I think probably the glitter letters is what I'm going to be using for this project. The floral picks and greenery at my Dollar Tree are really picked over, so I picked up this large bunch at Walmart, and it was just $5, which I thought was a pretty good deal because it's huge. It has all kinds of different things on it, the berries and the little cinnamon looking stars and the cotton. And so there'll be more than enough to do this project with this. I'll also be using some wired ribbon that I picked up at Dollar Tree. You can get this anywhere, but I just happened to get this one at Dollar Tree. This is a package of snowflakes that I got at Walmart last year, but you can get them at the Dollar Tree as well, and I'll just be using one out of that package. Other supplies that I'll be using are some E6000, some craft sticks, some chalk paint that I had on hand, a paintbrush, scissors, and my hot glue gun. Oh, and also a pair of pliers. The first thing I'm going to be doing is using my pliers, and I'm going to pull those little metal tabs out of the back of each picture frame that's holding the contents into the frame. Then I'm just going to remove all the contents from the frame. I'll be saving the glass and discarding the rest. Then I'm going to take my chalk paint, and I'm just going to paint each of the frames. And when I do this, I'm not putting a solid coat on the frame because I want it to look a little bit more farmhouse. So the chalk paint is really good for this project because it just goes on, it adheres to the frame really nicely, but then using a paintbrush I get a little bit of streaking so that the color of the frame shows through, and that's the look that I'm going for.
So I have to be honest here. On my first frame, I actually glued the glass into the frame, and then I realized that I hadn't painted it yet. So I highly recommend painting the frame first and then gluing the glass in. That way you don't have to worry about keeping the paint off of the glass. And I just used my Gorilla Glue hot glue to glue the glass into the frame. Next, I'm going to glue the 3 frames together, and I'm going to use some E6000 for this and my hot glue gun, just because I want to get a really strong bond, but I also want it to hold together immediately so I can continue working on this project. So I'm using these little tubes of E6000 that I got at Walmart. I really kind of like them because when I buy the large tubes of E6000, sometimes they get a little dry before I actually get it all used. And this way I get it used up before it dries in the tube. So I'm going to put some E6000 on the edges, the long edge of one of the frames. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue to it as well, and then stick those together, just making sure that the edges are lining up and they're pushed together securely. Next, I'm going to use the craft sticks and the hot glue, and I'm just going to put a generous amount of glue on there and glue the craft sticks onto the seams where the picture frames meet. This will give it a little more stability. And I'm putting 2 on each of the vertical seams, and then I'm going to put 1 across the top and the bottom where the frames meet as well. Next, I'm going to create my florals for the top of the window, and I'm just using that big bunch that I got for $5 at Walmart, and I'm just going to cut off some pieces of that I think I want to use and just start laying them out on the frame. I know a lot of people get a little intimidated by floral things. I would just encourage you to not stress about it too much, and just remember that things in nature are not perfect. They're not symmetrical. They're not identical. So if one side doesn't look exactly like the other side, it's totally okay. And you'll see in mine that they are not, totally the same on both sides. And so I just start layering them and moving things around until I get a look that I like. I did want to use the little stars that were in this floral bunch. They look kind of like a cinnamon star, and just really liked those for this project. And then I had some of the red I wanted to incorporate, and that will help tie in with the ribbon that I'm using, which is also red. So now that I have it the way I want it to be, I'm just going to take one of these garland ties that they sell in a package at Dollar Tree, and these are just some I had on hand, and they're just like a pipe cleaner basically, but they're made out of the pine garland, and I'm just going to twist it around the center to help hold everything together. Then I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to glue the bundle of florals to the top of the window in the center. I did also take my glue gun and put a few drops of glue on the underside of the florals just to help secure them a little bit better, because they seem just a little bit loose, and that helped to hold them more securely. The next step is to make a bow, and I'm using this ribbon from Dollar Tree, which is just a pattern on the single side, so it makes it a little bit trickier for making your bow. So let me show you how to do this. You're just going to make a loop, and then you're going to, in the center, what will be the center of your bow, you're going to twist the ribbon, and so that you then have the wrong side of the ribbon facing up. And then you'll just make another loop about the same size as the first one that you made. And then you're going to twist your ribbon again. And that will again make the wrong side of the ribbon face up toward you. And then this ribbon, it was a little bit slippery, but the wired ribbon is easier to work with. It holds its shape a little bit better. So then you just continue to make loops on each side, twisting it in the middle each time so that you have the right side of the ribbon showing. And on this bow, I made 3 loops on each side, and then I made a little bit of a smaller loop in the center. So I have a total of 7 loops. You can make as many loops as you want. I just felt like 7 on this bow was about the right size for this project. Then I'm going to cut my ribbon off the spool, and I usually try to work with it on the spool because I never know exactly how much I'm going to need, and this way I don't accidentally cut it too short. Then I'm going to cut a little piece, and this one I actually cut it a little too short, but cut a little piece of the same ribbon to put through the center and tie in the back of the bow, and you want to tie it as tightly as you can, and I tie it in a knot. So you want to make it at least long enough to make it easier than I had it to tie a knot. Once you have the knot tied, then I just add a little hot glue to the back just to secure it a little bit more, especially since the ends of my knot were pretty short. Then just turn your bow over and start fluffing up your loops and twisting them around till you get the bow how you like it, until it's nice and full. And that's really all there is to it. If you have ribbon that's the design is on both sides, it's a lot easier because you don't have to worry about twisting it every time you make a loop. So it's the same technique, you just don't have to twist it every time, which does make it easier to make. But that's all there is to making a bow, and now we're ready to put it on our project. I'm also just using hot glue to attach the bow, so I'm just going to put some on the back of the bow and press it down into the center of my florals, and just hold it there until it's secure. And then I'm just going to kind of weave the ends of the bow into the greenery just until I like the way it lays and looks. Then I'm going to fold the ends of my ribbon in half and then just cut at an angle so that the ends of the ribbon are nice and finished looking. Next, I'm just going to take some fishing line and I'm going to tie some to each of the letters and to the snowflake. I'm using the snowflake for my O in the word joy, and I'm just going to use the fishing line to hang them because I didn't really want to glue them directly onto the glass. Okay, so I have another confession to make. This step I really should have done before I put the florals on the frame because it was really hard to glue these to the frame with the florals in the way, especially the snowflake, because it was right in the center where I had already glued the bow and the florals down. I glued the snowflake first because I wanted to get it kind of in the center between the bottom of the florals and the bottom of the frame and just I'm using it as kind of a guide for my letters as well. So that's why I put it on first. Then I'm just going to go ahead and glue the J and the Y on, and just kind of use that snowflake as a guide for how long to make the string for hanging those letters. So again, here was my inspiration, what I saw in the store that gave me the idea to make this. And here is my finished project, and I have to say that I really love it. I think I like it better than the inspiration piece that I saw in the store, and that one was $40 and mine only cost me $12 plus using a few supplies that I already had on hand. So I am really glad that I decided to make this project.
So there you go. There is my copy of this window decoration, and I like the way it turned out, and I like a lot that it only cost me about $12 to put it together. So I hope that you enjoyed it as well. If you did, please give my video a thumbs up, and thank you so much for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber already, please hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you'll be notified when I upload new videos. And even though this is probably my last Christmas DIY, I do have some winter DIYs coming up, and just some things for the new year. So you'll want to be sure to hit that notification bell so that you know when I put those videos up. And if you have any Christmas traditions that your family does, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. And I know that traditions are a big part of celebrating Christmas. So I like hearing about what other people do. One that we do in my family is I have always made an ornament and bought an ornament for my girls each Christmas until they're 18. And then that way when they move out of the house, they have 36 ornaments that they can take with them to start their own Christmas tree. And this year my youngest daughter is 18, so this is her last year. So it's a little bittersweet, but that's just a tradition that we do, and we always choose ornaments that have some sort of meaning, that maybe reflect something that we did during the year, or a milestone in their lives. So that's just one of my traditions that we've done in our family, and so I'd love to hear about your traditions. Anyway, thank you again so much for watching, and I appreciate you all, and I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you next time.